Andrew gets a card to use against Prince Charles, just as if, from the heavens. Netflix drops this documentary about this apparently very, very famous British guy. He's dead now. And he was accused of pedophilia during the course of his life, I guess, or some sort of child molestation or inappropriate behavior with kids. But now it's coming out. He was 84 when he died. Now it's coming out. It's much, much worse than we knew. And he was a very close confidant and friend of Charles. I should say, no one's suggesting that Charles knew that this guy was hurting children during the course of their friendship. But who is this guy? And how did he get so close to so many royals and other muckety-mucks in Great Britain over the years?
So Jimmy Savile, Megyn, is one of the most famous figures in the UK. While he was alive, he was the most popular TV presenter in Britain. He was attracting 20 million viewers for his shows on the BBC, and he was friends with Charles and Diana. He was friends with Margaret Thatcher. Problem is, Megyn, he was also Britain's most notorious paedophile and necrophiliac. And it was known over the course of his life that he abused young girls. And what ended up happening was, I think, one of the most shameful establishment cover-ups in British history. The BBC, the organisation that is meant to be the public broadcaster of this country, covered up Savile's behaviour. They knew, and they covered it up. And even after his death, Megyn, when one of the news programmes at the BBC Newsnight wanted to broadcast a tell-all investigation about Savile's paedophilia, they were banned from doing so by BBC management. Now, the issue is the first person who offered a full and wholesome tribute to Jimmy Savile following his death was Prince Charles. And this Netflix documentary couldn't come at a worse time for Charles and the entire British royal family, which has been rocked by a series of scandals, of course. And clearly there is an argument for Prince Andrew to make. Hang on a moment, big bro. Yes, I was pals with Epstein, but you were close pals with Jimmy Savile, who was widely known behind the scenes to be a dodgy pedo. And the notes between Savile and Prince Charles, which have been included as part of this Netflix documentary, show just how close their relationship was, Megyn. Savile was actually offering lots of communications and PR advice to the royal family, including advice that was shown to Prince Philip and the Queen. He also Prince Charles also asked him to provide PR advice to Fergie, the Duchess of York, who was involved in all of her own scandals at the time. So look, I'm not saying for a single second that Prince Charles was aware of Jimmy Savile's behaviour. And remember, lots of other people were sucked in, including Margaret Thatcher, the very well-respected first British female prime minister. So maybe we should give Prince Charles a pass on exactly what he knew about Savile, but you can understand why it's particularly uncomfortable given what's just gone on with Prince Andrew.
Well, was there, you say that a lot of people knew he was a dodgy pedo. When did they know, right? So that's relevant. Did Charles, in the way that Andrew did with Epstein, continue the friendship after it was known this guy was likely hurting kids?
Well, look, the BBC knew as early as 1973, Megyn, that Jimmy Savile took underage girls back to his apartment following filming of Top of the Pops, which was a really big music chart show in the UK, quite an iconic show where all of the big pop acts would perform every week. Now, Savile's argument at the time was that, I'm taking the young girls back to my apartment, but nothing sexual's going on. And obviously, the culture was incredibly different back then, and that argument was accepted, and BBC bosses turned a blind eye. Of course, what we don't know is how aware Prince Charles was. But look, there were various newspaper reports throughout Savile's life about some of his dodgy practices. But again, the British libel system makes it incredibly difficult for British newspapers to publish those sorts of allegations without hard and fast proof. And Savile would boast while he was alive life that, oh, well, every time the newspapers publish one of these exposés, it's great because I just get thousands more pounds when I take them to court. So at the very least, it's hard to believe that Prince Charles hadn't heard that he was a dodgy character. The full extent of his reign of terror and his shocking abuse of children didn't fully emerge publicly, though, until well after his death.
Here's just a bit from the Netflix trailer. This is soundbite 2 on Jimmy Savile.
He knew everybody.
Can I thank you for everything you do for every good cause?
How on earth do you raise £10 million in 3 years?
With Jim, you accepted things as normal, but it was abnormal.
That is supposed to be me. What did I ever do to you that you would draw that picture of me?
He's very intuitive.
You do a terrific job, Jimmy.
No, that's all front. That's all lies.
He was making the screen in front of him. It's like you couldn't see through it.
He knew fame and power gave him every door.
I am a voluntary helper. Sometimes, when nobody's looking, I help the lasses.
It turns out everywhere he'd been, there'd been abuse.
Oh my gosh. And you mentioned just in passing necrophilia?
Yeah. And it was well known that he would maintain these relationships, Megyn, with hospitals and children's hospitals, that he had access to dead bodies. So,
God.
this is the worst story of celebrity abuse, I think, that exists. And I can completely understand why Netflix has decided this is a big story in Britain, but no one outside of the UK has even heard of this bloke. Plus, there's a royal connection. So let's turn it into a big series. But at the same time, Megyn, there are questions being asked about Netflix as well. And I wrote a column for the Daily Mail about this yesterday, because very interesting, isn't it? Intriguing, you might say, that from the moment that Netflix signed their big multi-million-dollar deal with Prince Harry and Meghan, there's been a slew of negative programs about the royal family, and they seem to be targeting Harry and Meghan's relatives.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.